face to face this time because I'm winging it. I'm winging it again. Music Monday. What songs have been covered more than any other? There's White Christmas, I think, is the one that's been covered more often than any other. Yesterday by the Beatles. Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen. Summertime, the old classic. I don't know who wrote that one right off the top of my head, but it's been around forever. Most of the cover songs that you hear of, like White Christmas or Yesterday, are pretty true to the original, because you either have to get really out there or you have to be respectful of a song like that. There's not a lot of room for interpretation. But I ran across a song. It's from 1962. It was originally titled something about Liberty Valance, something about liberty. It was originally written to be used or to be thought of in light of that movie, that character. The guy that wrote it, whose name I forget, sold the rights to the song to a group called the Shantays. And the Shantays, because they now owned the rights to that song, could do anything they want with it. So the first thing they did was declare that they wrote it. And if you read the credits for any cover versions of that, it says it's written by those two guys from the Shantays. Which, they bought it. They can do whatever they want to with it. You bought it. Enjoy it. They recorded a version of it in 1962, the Shantays. And then the Ventures recorded a version of it pretty soon after that. I don't know if it was even released as a single by the Ventures. I couldn't find any record of that, but I don't know. Anyway, it's one of those things. And then it's been recorded by some very unique... Anyway, the song, I should say, is not Liberty Valance. It's now called Pipeline. And you will instantly recognize it when you hear it. It's one of the classic surf rock songs of all time. And it's been recorded by numerous surf rock type bands over the years. It's been recorded by some really interesting people. And some of the versions that I found of it, it's one of those songs you don't have to really be true to the original intent of it, or however you want to say it. You can take some liberties with it, oddly enough, Liberty Valance. And there have been people that have done just that. This thing has been recorded by everybody from, like I said, surf rock acts of the 60s to Anthrax did a version of it. One of the more popular versions of it was done by a guy named Johnny Thunders in about mid-90s, 96 maybe. It was the closing song on The Sopranos for a few episodes, and it got really popular from that. And his version is fairly true to the original, except it's just got a little more gusto to it, distorted guitars and stuff like that. But there's a few versions of it that I think you really should listen to the original by the Shantays first. And then go listen to Stevie Ray Vaughan did a version with Dick Dale and his brother Jimmy Vaughan. They did a live version of it. Les Claypool did a version of it, which is totally unique. Who else am I trying to think of that did fairly popular versions of it? The guy from the Shadows, Hank Marvin, did a version of it with I've forgotten his name. Super popular surf rock kind of guitar player. I've forgotten his name now. And I may have some of these combinations wrong, but I'll correct it if I do. Anyway, Hank Marvin did a fantastic version of it fairly recently, actually. Hank Marvin was in the Shadows, worked with Cliff Richard, and did just an unbelievable, very, very influential guitarist from England in the late 50s, early 60s, and throughout the 70s and 80s for that matter. Bill Frisell, jazz guitarist, did a version of this that's just pristine. It is absolutely fantastic. Pat Metheny did a version of it that's very Pat Metheny. If you're not listening real close, you might not even be able to tell it's the same song, but his take on it is really, really cool. Like I said, Anthrax, Johnny Thunders, a bunch of hard punk, heavy metal-ish kind of people have done it. It's probably been done by at least 3 dozen people that I ran across, and some of them are great. I'm going to put a playlist, if I can find a playlist, if I can accrue a playlist for YouTube, I'll make one there. I'll also put one for Spotify. But you should go check some of these versions out and compare and contrast them. It's a really cool thing. I've spent, I don't know, a couple of hours listening to different versions of it today, and there's some really great stuff out there. The California Guitar Trio is another one that did a version of it. Some bongo band with steel drums, kettle drums, all those different kinds of things, did a version of it. It lends itself well to Eric Johnson did a version of it. I'll include that one in the playlist as well. Eric Johnson's fantastic. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. Cover songs with unique takes on them, and I'll have a playlist. It may not appear right away in this video. If you watch this video and there's not a playlist down there, come back in a day or two. I'll remind you, and I'll make sure that playlist goes up. I just haven't put it together yet. You take it easy. I'll see you tomorrow, maybe.